Hey guys, hey. How's everybody doing today? I finally have a day off, and so I thought I would get on here and do a short, quick tutorial. Some of you have asked me about how to make my, I made my mini albums, and so I thought I would start with a beginner album that only takes 8 pieces of cardstock. So it doesn't take very much, and it's like I said, it's a good, easy beginner class. Let me see if I can share here while everybody's coming in. It has been a hot minute since I have done any type of live, whether it be on a YouTube channel, an Instagram, any type of platform. So I am a little nervous, to say the least. Now, during the video, if I look over and I see your comments, I'll try to answer you right away. If not, and if I get busy, then I'll answer them as soon as the live is over, because typically when I try to do more than one thing, I mess up, and I don't want to mess up. But this is a little album that we're going to be making today. It is a 6 1/4 by 6 1/4 album, and like I said, it only takes 8 pieces of cardstock. I mean, and very limited amount of scoring. So it's very, very simple. It's very easy. And what I like about it is when it's all folded out, it could sit like on the top of a fireplace mantle, so all the pictures can be viewed at one time. It could sit on a coffee table. It could just be, you know, on a kitchen island somewhere, depending on what theme you were going to use for the month. So the pages, by the time that they're done, of course, they're 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, so you can get a lot of photos in the album. Plus, in this one, I have created a pocket. You don't have to create a pocket. You could have just left it the same size of 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. But I like the pockets because I like the 3x4 journaling cards, because I can put a picture on the back, or I can do some journaling, and it just lets people know what the event was and what was going on. So this is the album. I used a paper collection called I Love Snow Paper by Miss Kate Cuttables. I love her paper packs. I use them a lot. And this is one I had from last year. And I'm really big at the beginning of the year. I don't really do New Year resolutions because I always set myself up for failure. So I try to take that New Year's resolution into something in my paper crafting. And so typically year to year, it's let's use up for the first 6 months or so, let's use up what we have. And if there's a particular theme that I want that I don't have a paper pack, then we'll buy, because I have a really bad habit. I'm addicted to paper. I love paper. And so if I see something, I'm going to want to buy it. So my resolution is to use what I have unless I don't have something, and then I purchase. And we're going to see how that works. Sometimes it works for a couple of months. I do really well. Sometimes not so much. But so far this year, I've not bought any paper packs. So, of course, it's only, what, the 3rd weekend of January. But, hey, got to have a little faith. Okay, so this is 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. This is the front. I just took one of the cards and matted it. The paper pack is super cute. I love all the bright colors. I just took a part of one of the stickers and just did the side of the spine, and then here's the back part. So when you open it up, you have a left side and a right side, and each side mirrors the other side. So this flips open, and then it just keeps going. And I left all of these little sticker places open, so if you wanted to do a tuck spot and change it out, you know, you were able to do that. I did cut a few of these pieces. You could put a 3x3, and then you could do like a 2x2, or you could do, and this is for any of them, you could do a 3x4 and maybe a 3x3. It just depends on the photo placement and the sizes that you want your photos to be. You could do a 4x4, just tuck that right in there. So there's different ways you could do. If you had a vertical You could do a 3.5 by 5.5, really simple, or you could even do it, you know, horizontal. So there's different sizes of photos that you can put in here. Okay, this flips out, and so we have this side, and then this one over here also flips out, so it leaves you a ton of room for photos. And then these just flop back in together. We come across to the center. This side folds up, so what happens on the left also happens on the right. So this folds, and this is also a tuck spot. I left it open so you could tuck some things in there, and you could add, you know, your photos depending on how you wanted them, or you can add a 2 by 2. This is a 3 by 4, and then this opens up, and then this opens up here, and this, I did not leave this sticker open. I set it down and I didn't think about it. These two, either one, they're glued permanently down. Sorry, but you can leave yours open. I just thought they were cute that way. So you can, like I said, add your photos however you wanted to add them. And then that closes up, and then this side opens up, but this one I left to do a photo because I thought these little journaling cards were adorable, and so I wanted to add a photo. Now, when I make it today, I'm not going to add this photo, but these are easy. This is like a strip of 2.5. Let me get my thing, my ruler here. This strip is like 2.5 by 5 7/8. And then I just glued 3 sides and created a pocket. Very simple, not hard. And then the little journaling cards, they're just super, super sweet, and they just tuck in right here. Here's something you could write about what was going on. And then I did mat these because they were writing ones, and you could put a photo on the back and you could journal on the front. So those just tuck in there. And then this folds up back to the middle and together. Now, if it's all sitting out, it's not going to fit in the camera. But it does sit up, and it does allow everything to open up. So if it sat out on your kitchen counter or your kitchen island, your fireplace mantle, you know, just wherever you had a long spot, then nobody just sees it and opens it up because it's already spread out, and everybody starts seeing the pictures and, oh, this is really cute. And so I really like that aspect of it, that everything just kind of is wide open so everybody can see. So that just folds together. Really easy peasy. Now, let's get started. Like I said, this is not hard by any means. And if you have questions along the way, please put them in the comments. I will answer you, I promise. After the video is over, or if I look over and see them on my iPad, I will answer you. Okay, like I said, it only has 8 pieces. That's it. You've got a front and back 2 pieces that are 6 1/4 by 7 1/2. And on the 7 1/2 inch side, which is your long side, we're going to score it 1 on both of those pieces. So I've done one already because, you know, this is boring. You don't want to see me do this 8 times. But we're just going to slide this over to the 1. And we're going to score it just like that. We're just creating a score line so that it can fold. This is what's going to attach and make your book, the front and the back. So we're just going to fold those on the score line just like that. And when you put these together, they go just like that, and they will create your book. It's really, really simple, I promise you. So let me get my glue going here. I did unstick it, so I hope it's not stuck in there. Now, I use glue with mine because glue is just, I don't know. I know the tapes, the score tapes are good too. I use those on my bigger albums, especially if I'm using chipboard. But if I'm just using cardstock, I just use glue. Okay, and you're just gonna match these up. You're just gonna match them up to where you're not going over the score line, because if you go over the score line, then you're not gonna be able to bend your book. So you just wanna bend it up just as close to that score line as possible. with each other. And you're going to have glue that probably comes out, but that's okay because this glue dries clear. You just want to burnish that down really good, even on the inside. So that creates your book. That's your front, your back, and your spine. Super simple. I did not bring my bone folder over here. But anyway, you're just going to put that together. Now today, I'm just going to show you or demonstrate to you how we put it together, and then you can decorate it. Because, you know, everybody has their own different style. Typically, when I decorate, especially if this is a gift for somebody, I usually double mat it, which means I'll have the base cover, and then I'll do a layer of cardstock that matches the paper set, and then I'll put some designer series paper down, the decorative part of it. And the more layers you have, the thicker it makes your album and the more durable it will make your album. But once again, that's totally up to you. That's just what I do. A lot of people just have the cover and then they'll put down the designer series paper. It just whatever you prefer, but that's usually what I do. I like to layer them. Okay, so we got the cover out of the way. So we're gonna open it up, and then we're gonna have two end pieces. And they need to be 6 1/4 by 6 7/8. And on the 6 7/8 inch side, you're gonna score it at 1/2 inch and 7/8 of an inch. And I've done one, so we're gonna do the other one together. So make sure that when you start scoring that you're on the long side. You're on the 6 7/8 side, and you're gonna scoot this down to 1/2 inch. And then we're going to go over to 7/8 of an inch. And that will let us have just a little 7/8 of an inch gusset. So we're going to fold and burnish on the score lines. Both of them. So that when it's connected on the 1/2 inch strip to the cover and the base, when it's connected on this side, you're going to have this much of a gusset. So what that means is you always want to try to make sure you have a gusset in your albums, because depending on how many pictures you add, the pictures, once you start adding them, depending on how many layers and how you decorate, it's going to take up a lot of space. And you don't want your album to be bulky. You don't want it to not close. So it's really important to have gussets in there because that allows the extra room. All right, so we're just gonna fold this again, creating our gusset. Now, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put glue, not on the 3/8 inch strip, but on the 1/2 inch. We're gonna put that on the 1/2 inch glue. And then I like to turn it sideways just so that I can get this down good. And you just want to take it, I usually bend it at the corner, and you want to put it at the corner of the end of your front cover. So I usually try to get it all the way to the end without going over. And that's another reason why I like to use a little bit of glue, because glue is very forgiving. You have a few minutes to manipulate that glue and get it in the right spot, whereas the stronger tapes, once you put it down, it's down. There is no wiggle room. So I like to use the glue. Okay. Like you see, there is a little bit of glue, but like I said, it will dry clear. I use the Art Glitter Glue. Okay, so now this folds over, and you can see that now that it's attached to the end on the left, you have a little bit of gusset there. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing to this side. We're going to put the glue on the 1/2 inch strip. And you really want to make sure you get it on the ends and in between. Fold it down. right there to the end. I just mash those together. Just remember, make sure your glue is on the 1/2 inch side strip and not on the 3/8 inch. So now we have these down. So now we've just mirrored. What we've done to the left, we're also doing to the right. And so there, you have already an extender. Now what we're gonna do is add some more extenders. You're gonna need 4 pieces. These are what I'm calling the inside flaps. They're 6 1/4 by 6 1/2. And on the long side, which is 6 1/2, we're gonna score it 1/2 inch. These create the flaps. Okay, I've already done the other 3. So you're just scoring it 1/2 inch on the long side. All right, so now we're just gonna fold these over, and these create your flaps. All right, so now we have our flaps, and let me show you where they're gonna go. On my album, you can either leave these square, all these flaps square, or I used a decorative corner. I think they're, We Are Memory Keepers. They are, this is the one I used. They have the stub side, which is the side I use, and they have the deco side. And you just put it in there, and you can, I'm not going to do this one, but I'll show you on a piece. So you can just put it in like this, and this is the deco side. And if I use the stub side, so you would just turn it over. So it gives you the different, just a little bit different take, or you could use a corner rounder and just round them, or just leave them alone. Tons of options, just depends on what you want to use. Okay, so right now I'm gonna work on the left-hand side. And so what we're working with right now is I'm working on these 2 pieces right here. That's what's gonna go here. Okay. So you just have to remember, what goes on the left also goes on the right-hand side. It just, everything mirrors. Okay, so you want to put glue on this 1/2 inch side. And we're just going to put this at the end of that extender. This is a really easy beginner one. If you start with one of these, I mean, it's just that simple. And like I said, it's limited number of pieces. They're all kind of approximately the same size. So, okay, so we got that flip out done. Now we're gonna put the other one on. And then we need to make sure that it butts up just underneath this score line. If you go over the score lines, it's not gonna fold properly. So I just nudge it right up just below the 1 score line. And I will tell you, if you decide, just a shortcut I learned along the way, and I learned it the hard way a couple of times, it's a lot easier to, if you are going to round the corners, or if you are going to use a decorative punch, to do it before you adhere it down. Otherwise it gets a little complicated. And if you do use a decorative, then what you do to the cardstock, you'll need to do also to the designer paper when you put it down so they match. Okay, so there's our flaps to the left. They fold in, and then this folds over. So now we're going to work on the right-hand side. Don't worry about that glue because your cardstock or your paper will cover it right up. You won't have to worry about it. A lot of times after it dries, you can peel it right off. Okay, so we're just going to put the last one on. This one goes here, and then this one's going to go right here up against this score line up here. Let me see. This one's going to, they're all attached to the 1/2 inch, not the gusset. They all, you want the score line to go just right below. I'll also tell you when you're decorating, because it's a personal choice, I usually go about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. All right, now I'm talking. I gotta be quiet or I'll mess up. I don't know if any of you are like that. And see, I've obviously cut this one, or I've either cut this one wrong, or I have, because it's too long. But I'm going to put it in and I'll cut it off later. Yeah, I need to cut that off, cut it too long. So these flop in together, and then these come back to the middle, and then it closes up like that. So there you've got your 6 1/4 by 6 1/4 album. Super simple. But when this is when the album is 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, and I go to lay down the cardstock, because I layer with cardstock, I look at my ruler, and I love this ruler, and if you like this ruler, it's got all the measurements on it. You don't have to guess. I mean, I love it, and I can link it. This will be uploaded to my YouTube channel, and usually at the bottom of the YouTube channel, I'll have all the supplies that I used and where you can get them. And I got this off of Amazon, and I will link it below. But it's 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. So when I go to layer my first with cardstock, I'm going to drop down 1/4. So I'll use 6 1/8 by 6 1/8 cardstock on here, which would on this page been the red. I go down 1/4, so that's 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. And then when I go to put the paper down, I drop it down another 1/4 of an inch. So that'll be 6 that'll be right at 6. So then it'll be 6 by 6 for the designer paper, and then the cardstock is 6 1/4. Is that right? No. 6 1/8 for the cardstock squared, and then 6 for the paper. You want to go down 1/4 of an inch. You can go down more. Say you wanted to show more of the black, so you would go down to maybe 6 1/8 initially, and then drop it down to 5 7/8, just depending on how much of each you want to show. I just usually drop it down by 1/4. And then, like I said, if you want to make a pocket, where's that pocket? You'll just take, you know, this one I believe is, yes, this is 2. Just a piece of paper that was 2 by 5 7/8. I just had a strip. I glued it down, but I only glued it on 3 sides, and of course it made a pocket. Simple to do. When you're doing a beginner pocket, these are the simplest ones to do. Just get a strip, however wide you want it, your pocket to be, and then just glue it down on 3 sides. And the further we go along in creating the albums, I'm going to start with a few beginner ones for everybody, just to see if you like doing it. Because if you get to one that's pretty advanced and you're not used to doing albums, you're going to be very frustrated and you're going to give up. So That's the way I learned. I started with things that were small, and then I worked my way up. There are some bigger pockets that you can do that are gusseted. You can allow more pictures to go in, a lot more journaling cards, but we'll get to those later. The next album next week that I'm going to do is a 4x4 album. It's even smaller than this one, but it had a little bit more. It has a little bit more parts and pieces to it. I didn't even though it's a smaller album, it has more interactive elements in it. Where this one is basically the same size throughout. It just has, you know, it folds up on itself and mirrors from the left and to the right. Very simple, very simple. This is, you know, something you could do with, you know, your scrapbooking buddies, if you have customers of any sort from somewhere, from another company that you do. This is a great, great class to do, something different. I mean, because I'm a huge scrapbooker, but there are times that I don't have any pictures to scrap, or I'm just not in the mood to do a 12 by 12 layout. And so I'm needing something for, you know, 6 to 8 pictures, maybe 12. You know, these albums come in handy. They're also good gifts, very good gifts to give to grandparents or parents or coworkers, friends, family, whoever, just of one event. These are good for like one event, gets them all in there, and then you can hand it off. Also does good classes too. So, like I said, if you have any questions or you didn't understand something, leave it in the comments. If there's something you'd like to see me do, it doesn't have to be album related. It could be any type of paper craft. This is my paper crafting place. This is where anything paper crafting is related. We're just going to go for it. If you've done something with paper and, say, a picture frame, show us. Let us see it. Let's see what you're doing. I want to see all the paper crafting things that everybody's doing. This is our place. This is our safe place. This is where you can post your things. We can share ideas. People can answer your questions, and you're in a safe community space. So I did want to go over that. I did upload some things in the albums. I'll be using albums quite a bit within the group. In January, I've got Anything Goes, which means it could be something paper craft related, or it could be a blanket that you crocheted. It could be a dress that you made. You can post anything up in that album that says January, Anything Goes. Same thing, I'll post one that says February, Anything Goes. You can post anything that you've done, that you've DIY'd yourself, whether it's paper crafting related, crocheting, sewing, pottery, just whatever. Something that's totally different from paper crafting, just another hobby that you have can go in there. And then at the end of the month, I'll add you to the wheel for something, you know, some Happy Meal, a prize of some sort. So, like I said, those albums you don't have to post. There will be other albums that are titled, you know, All Paper Craft, January All Paper Crafting, and I haven't put it up yet because I just thought of it this morning. So January All Paper Crafting. So anything paper crafting related. It could be a junk journal. It could be a scrapbooking album. It could be a scrapbooking layout. It could be a scrapbooking border. It could be a photo mat. It could be anything. It could be any kind of die cut you created. Anything can go in there because it's just paper crafting related. Same thing. End of the month, put you on the wheel. Happy Meals included. And the reason I do this is because, you know, even though it's my group, I created it, it's still a community for everybody. It's for everybody to get something out of it. And we all learn from each other. So if there's something, a certain trick or tip that you've learned away, share it. We all probably need to know it. Let's see, what else was I going to do? I did upload some things that I have in my stash that I am selling. Many of you know me from my Creative Memories buy-sell group. I've had it for 4 years. I've been a Creative Memories advisor for quite some time. But I have recently made the decision that I am no longer being an advisor. I explained to a few of my friends that I like variety. I don't want to be stuck with just being able to use one company's products. And with that being said, it was time for me to take a step down so that I could do that. So while I'll still be a customer, because there are things that I do enjoy from the company, and I will post them as I use them, but I am no longer going to be an advisor. Now, as far as my group that I had started 4 years ago, it's still going to be my group whether I'm an advisor or not. I will still run it. If you're not in it and you'd like to be in it, I can send you a link. Just PM me. It's but this I'm taking my creativity to a different level. I'm no longer wanting to be under somebody's direct line of products. I want to expand because I'm not one that, like I said, likes to use just one type of product. I like to use all kinds of paper, all kinds of tools, and I don't like to be limited in my creativity. So I did want to talk about that. If you're interested in any of the albums that I've shown, my baby album, I think, was the last one that I've shown, and it is sold. It goes out soon, but those have been selling fast. I can't keep them in my Etsy shop very long. Speaking of which, I don't even know where it is. I was going to show you guys today, but I can't seem to can find it. But I think I've already posted a video. Most of you have already probably seen it. I used an Echo Park baby collection that the customer had requested. If you ever see an album that I do and you don't, that's another thing about albums. A lot of people see the album and go, oh, well, I don't really like the paper. Well, you know what? That's okay, because this is a blank canvas right here. Even though I use winter, you might want to use summer, or you might want to do Christmas, or you might want to do Valentine's Day. It doesn't matter. As long as you have the base that's created, you can decorate it however you want to. So that's a positive note there. Now, these are some of my larger albums, and like I said, this is what I would call more an advanced album. This is pretty much the top of the line in albums go. There's a lot of interactive, intricate pieces, and that was something we could work up to later on, but like I said, I wouldn't want to start you here because you might get really, really confused. So this is one of the baby albums that I created, and it's in my Etsy shop right now. And so this opens up. There's magnetic features that go along with this one. And this lifts up for a picture here. And then I've got all kinds of journaling cards here. These are 3x4 cards. You can put pictures on the back. And then, of course, I created the pocket. And then this slides over. Now, this album is quite different from this one. This one is created with cardstock. This one, for majority of the base, the cover and the back, is designed with chipboard. And like I said, that's something we could go into later if you were interested in creating something like this in the future. And then I have a stamp set that I use. It's placed 4x6 photos here. So if you're giving this to somebody like a grandparent or a mom that's not really familiar with scrapbooking and paper crafting, they know what size picture, to put here. So they're not lost. They know what pictures go where. And so this opens up, and another 4x6 photo can go here, like so. And then, of course, this is mirrored on the same side, so it opens up, so another 4x6. And then here's a 1 month photo. This album goes from birth to 12 years, to 12 months. And that closes up. And then each one of them has a large, this is the 2 month one, photos here, or journaling here, and photos on the back. There's 3 months there. And then these just slide in here. So each page has the same long insert. This one opens up here to a little photo mat. Place 3x4 photos here. And then this opens up here. Place 4x6 photos here. This flaps open here. Place 4x6 here. 4x6 here. And then this completely comes out. And you've got 4 months here. And then the back. And then this slides right back in. So this is 5 months, 4x6. Another one on the back. This right here opens up. It's a little booklet. These are 4x6. And it also has a little pocket area back here. I didn't glue it all the way down so that you would have a pocket area. And it fits some journaling cards. And then it has a card that comes out. This is 6 months, 7 months. This folds over. We've got 8 months. We've got some baby milestones they can fill in. The name, date of birth, first bath, first smile. This opens up. We've got 4x6 photo space here, 4x6 here. We've got 9 months here, 4x6 here, and so on. This album right here holds up to 75 plus out pictures depending on how big your pictures are in the placement. So it holds a lot of photos because this is a whole year's worth. And then this, I created a pocket here. This has a little booklet, comes out, 3x4 photos here, or some journaling. This has another booklet, Here Sleeps a Sweet Girl. And this opens up for plenty more photos, and then they just tuck back in the pocket. And then this opens up here, 10 months and 11 months. And then this folds over. And this has got a place for 4x6 photos here, here, and then I have a waterfall here. Now here's the thing about the 4x6. You don't have to just place your 4x6 photos here. You know, a 4x4 could go here, and a 3x3 could go here. It would just, you know, depend on what size your photos were. Or if you had a large one, a 4x6 total would go there. You could do a 3.5 here, and a 2x2, you know, just, and have some journaling here. It just, you know, whatever size you decided to make your photos. So this is a waterfall, and this is also a magnetic closure. It says baby, it opens up. You could do some journaling here, and then each one of these is a photo opportunity. And so it just goes like a waterfall. And then here, and then this folds back over. And then we've got babies 1 year, 12 months, 4x6. And then there's the back. So like I said, I really enjoy making these, but this is not something that I definitely started off making. I started off making the smaller ones. So yeah. But this one is available if anybody wants it. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, I tend to get excited about something, then I talk a lot. It's just really weird because I'm an introvert person, and so usually when I get in group conversations, I'm the one that's standing back just listening. I'm not really talking. But when I get to doing something that I'm passionate about, I can't stop talking. Or if I get nervous, you can't shut me up. So. But anyway, I just wanted to create that small album with you. Like I said, I've had plenty of people messaging me, asking me, you know, to do a tutorial. And so I thought, well, this would be the time to do it because I am off today. So, if you guys, like I said, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. This is going to be recorded if somebody wasn't able to attend. It will be in the group. So you can go back and rewatch it. So if you're making it and you're not sure of a point, you can go back and rewatch it, stop the video, and you can see, you know, what you need to see in order to get it right. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday afternoon, and I'll see you back here in a couple of days or next week, depending on my schedule. Thanks, guys.